All right, so one of the things that you want to do when you're dealing with percentages, ratios, relationships between one number and another number, you always want to set up this key figure here. This is the key, and if you can remember this key, you can do any of these all the time. Now, it is set up like this, okay? You're always going to have 100 right there, the number 100. And you're always going to have the percentage, the number of the percentage there above 100. And over here, this is where you would put the part, okay? The piece of something that you have. But over here, the last piece is where you would put the whole, like how big is the whole of the part. Now notice that there's a connection here between the whole and 100%, and then the part is what percentage of the 100, just as the part is to the whole. If you keep this, if you set this up, you will notice that you need to know at least two things in order to solve for the third. You already have the fourth. You're always going to have 100 there. So if I keep this kind of designation in mind and understand that this ratio equals this ratio, then it doesn't matter what I can pull any kind of information from any paragraph and put it into this and just do a quick multiplication, okay? Now I've got my calculator here and I'm going to be ready to go. I've got a CEO of Tech Pro, spends 45 hours per week working. If she dedicates 18 hours to strategic planning, 9 hours organizing, 9 hours controlling, and 9 hours implementing, what percentage of her time is spent on the task? So notice that when they ask what percentage, what they're doing is they don't know what this guy is. So what we need is, we need the part and we need the whole, and we already have the 100. If we have these three, we can solve for the percentage, and that's what they want. Now notice though, they want the percentage of all of these tasks, okay? So you'll notice that we got some identical things. We've got 18 hours for strategic planning, but 9 hours organizing, 9 hours controlling, and 9 hours implementing, those are going to be the same percentages because they're the same amount of time. Okay, now let's look and see how we would set this up. Now the first one is going to be a little slower, but the next ones that we do are going to be faster. Okay, so let's analyze the situation. If you've got 48 hours per week only and you spent 18 strategic planning, I hope that you can see that it's 18 that is the part and it's 45 that is the whole. Okay, in fact, we're going to have 18 over 45 for one equation, okay, and we don't know the percentage. Then we're going to have 9 over 45 equals the percentage over 100. Okay, so we're going to have 9 and it happened 3 times. So when we solve for this, we're actually answering the question 3 times. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead and figure out what percentage this is. We have the part over the whole equals this percentage over the 100. Now this is very easy. All you got to do is put an X right here for what you don't know. And in fact, we can solve both of these simultaneously. If I cross multiply, okay, I get 45x equals 18 times 100. Okay, so 45x equals, go ahead and give myself 2 zeros there. And all I got to do is divide by 45. When I divide by 45, okay, 1800. Now this is from your Algebra 1 class, just solving a one-step equation. We're going to go ahead and divide by 45, and it looks like it's 40. So what does x mean? That's 40%, okay? 40%. We solved for percentage, okay? Now, if 9 is happening, whoa. All right, problem 2. Again, this all goes back to this key piece. Now look, you might actually find a shortcut that it just makes a little bit more sense to you. You might find like a ratio that like you can kind of do it in your head, and that's totally fine. Go ahead and go with that. But always just test it with your common sense. These things should always work with your common sense. Now what this represents is a foolproof plan for you to figure this out using just a simple cross multiplication. Okay, so it's always foolproof. So that's what I'm going to go with. All right. Here's problem 2. Quick Ship Logistics has 10,000 square foot warehouse. Okay. So hopefully you kind of already know which one that one is of this group. If they allocate a part of it here, 3,500 square feet for electronics, 2,800 for clothing, and the rest for furniture. Okay, so the rest, we'll have to figure out what that is. What percentage of the warehouse is used for furniture? Okay, so they do just want us to figure out furniture. Okay, now look, they have 10,000 total, and they have 3,500 for electronics, 2,800 for clothing. That means the rest of that has to add up to the 10,000 square feet. Okay, so it all has to add up to 10,000. If they've got 3,500 there and they got 2,800 there, okay, that is not the proportion, then the rest has got to be used for furniture. So what we've got to do is we've got to take that 10,000, we got to subtract the electronics, okay, get rid of the clothing, and then that'll tell us how much space is reserved for the furniture. So I'm going to go in my calculator here, minus 3,500 and minus 2,800, okay? And it looks like 3,700 is reserved specifically for the furniture. I apologize for my screen, it's kind of glitching out. This will actually, we're almost done. So what we got to do now is we're going to set up our proportion because we need to ask the question, what percentage? There we go again. We put the X right over the 100 because that is the percentage location. And now all we got to do is think about which one is the part, which one is the whole. Now hopefully you understand too that the whole will always be the larger part. If you're dealing with physical reality, you are always going to have the larger part be the whole. I don't like saying larger part. The largest value will be the whole, okay? Now look, this is just straight up multiplication, okay? Cross multiplication. 10,000x equals 3,700 times 100, okay? And we're just going to divide this guy by 10,000, right? So take 37, I'm sorry, I probably said that wrong. 370,000 divided by 10,000 equals 37, okay? What is 30? Now, you can't always guarantee that that's going to be lucky like that, but what does 37 represent? Okay? Represents the percentage. That's what we were solving for, okay? All right.